So I'm back. I had to take a few weeks off recording for the podcast, not because I wanted to, not because I had to. I just had to stop for a couple of days just to let the adrenaline hype of it all just to settle down a little bit. The anxiety, awakening, or let me straighten things away. So ever since the 20th of May, one day after I had my IUD implanted, a copper IUD, I did it under the health plan from the same company whose my male co-workers used to shame me because I'm 37, I'm single, and I have no plans of having kids, and I don't have any kids. I don't really like kids. I've been an English teacher for at least 10 to 12 years, language teacher in general, and I worked a bit with kids, but I was in my 20s, early 20s to early 30s. So my patience and tolerance level were amazingly high for my level of depression, anxiety, and stress. And patience. So I did a fucking amazing job at, teaching those little fuckers, and going home and detaching and just never bringing work home. That was the only bright side of the whole fucking thing. It was just, and I didn't get to work at home after hours, so I could do that. But the last teaching job I had, I was fired too. I'm an introvert, and it may not sound like that, but I am. I'm not shy, which is that people assume that I am an extrovert, but it's not true. I'm an introvert with very clear communication skills, high communication skills. And it doesn't matter if my picture is in my profile. I'm not hiding. I think that setting up a whole background scene and sitting down in an uncomfortable chair to entertain people by video with videos is just not my thing. I don't have time for that shit. And you get my authentic self just by hearing my voice, more than people who prepare themselves to say shit that they don't really mean on video, or that they fake it. I don't get it. I don't watch those people. So basically, it's been since my late teens to now late 30s. It's been a mess of a career building towards getting out of education and building a new career. This job now as a translator that I was fired on March 2026, 19th of March 2026. It was my path away from the classroom. And I was so fucking grateful. I was so fucking happy. I was just, I don't know, it wasn't an out-of-body experience to go from the interview that I took, and 1 month and the next month I was already working. And then the day before I was about to start, I lost my ex-partner and best friend. And he died in another continent. While I was in training on a Saturday, I managed to organize his medevac from one country to another so he could have proper medical care. And I went to bed. The medevac was cleared. The company was warned about the fact that he was cleared to go back to his country. And the next morning I woke up to the message saying that he was gone. And I called the person who was supposed to be my manager. And I said, look, I lost someone in my family and I can't really start tomorrow. It was my first training day on the field, on site. And he said, she's fine, you don't have to go. But my mother and some of her friends who were my hosts told me that I should go. And I did. I didn't want to. She practically put the uniform on my body. I said, I'm not going. I have the right to mourn the loss of my best friend of 4 years. And they said, no, you should go because these people don't fool around. They're going to fire you in no time. So I showed up to work less than 24 hours after losing my best friend, my former partner, my first boyfriend, my first ever Valentine's Day ever in my life at 34. And honestly, the only human being on earth who truly knew me inside out. The only person I showed myself to without judgment. Dark humor, sarcasm, all biases, everything. The ugly side and the beautiful side, he got them all. And he never said no to me, to that person, to that woman. He always just shrugged it off and said, it is what it is. We are who we are. So I got used to that. And I thought, my mistake, that I would find more people like that in my life moving on, and I didn't. Quite the opposite. What happened to me in that company was the living proof that human beings are pretty shitty. Quite shitty. Often shitty. Not all of those 8 billions, but I would say at least half of it. I know that generalizations are often dumb. That's what I learned. And I know that you can't make every people pay for what wanted. But I'm talking about boycotting. I'm talking about isolation, ostracism, and harassment, continuous harassment, moral, gender, prejudice against the fact that I was a woman giving men orders. And that didn't sit well because there was so much going on. I can't just tell you right now what happened, but even amongst the female counterparts, it was just ridiculous. It was just like bullying, shaming me publicly about that. I'm about to send her a legal notification about what she did, but that's another story. When you learn, that's what I'm gonna talk about just now. When you learn how to defend yourself, how to fend for yourself, when the legal institutions, medical institutions fail you, they will, or they have, eventually they will again. So you have to learn some things about law and rules and codes, consumer codes, laws and everything. So you don't stay behind the fence just staring at those, people just sitting all over you, stepping all over you. what I did while I was away for a few weeks, is just I was calibrating myself, because after I was fired from the job itself, they just came to me and said, we don't need you anymore. Done, dusted, finalized. I hired my cousin as my lawyer. Useless. He gave me a list of something AI did, made this list, and he sent it to me while I was in a room waiting to be seen by a doctor. And I started doing it on my phone, and then I realized I don't have to do this on my phone right now. So I decided, look, I'm going to do this on my computer when I get home, which is 2 hours away from these doctors that I go to see every now and then. And he said, okay, no pressure. And it was about everything that I recently have been going through, which was mental health issues. I am hypervigilant. My brain does not let me rest. My body is sick and tired of being awake from 1 in the morning or 3 in the morning or 5 in the morning. It doesn't matter. I wake up, I can't sleep anymore, and my brain doesn't let me go to bed again. It doesn't stop working. Even now, after I took a break, but it doesn't stop. My brain associates resting with paralysis and laziness, being being not productive, but being lazy and out of a job and therefore incompetent or unwanted, misfit, and all the trauma that of a lifetime, it just resumes into this restlessness that my brain interprets as lack of productivity and laziness, and my anxiety spikes. It grows higher and higher and higher, and then I become it's just a rolling ball the snowball that makes me panic, and that's when things get a lot worse. Then I have to take a cold shower, head to toe cold shower, and reset my nervous system, the vagus nervous system, whatever, and vagus nerves. And yes, that's the thing. So I said, I'm going to do that at home. And it took me 2 weeks because I was reliving every single moment of those 3 months that I have been working there. And I used to just put the computer away because I couldn't go through what I've lived, my experiences there. So when I finally finished it, I sent him a message, look, I want you to file on Monday. This was 4 days before. And he said, look, I'm going to let you down because I'm going on an event in another state. And it's sort of a last minute trip. And I won't be able to file your process on Monday. And I was like, okay. So I blocked him. I blocked his secretary. I found another firm specialized in burnout. They took my case the next day. And then they started, asking for more documents. I shared over 200 documents with their firm's email account. They had access to my medical history, everything. And that's what I was doing, for myself. you find is someone who is actually capable professionally of defending me. It was a wrongful termination. There was nothing that was doing that was, not based on something illegal. It was just a labor work case against a wrongful termination. Because I had a medical leave that day, they couldn't have fired me. They were supposed to rehire me, and according to my country's law, I could have been reinstalled, and stationed for 12 months without the possibility of being fired again. And that did not happen because a month later, I found out, by the way, that the event that my cousin went to was a self-help and self-development event. He's a tall, like 6'7", tall, blonde, blue-eyed guy, young guy. He's middle 20s. He thinks the world evolves around his beauty and the fact that he's a lawyer. It's not, honey, and I'll prove that. He's still blocked, and he's gonna remain blocked for the rest of my life, because there's no turning back, going back to old people, old ways. From now on, from the March next thing on, is just moving forward. There's no looking back. And I'm leaving people, I'm leaving places, I'm leaving spaces, I'm leaving things, objects, items that don't belong to my life anymore. I just don't really get attached to things that do not belong into my new life. This is a new life for me, because after this was mid-April. By the 15th of May, less than a month after, I was fired by the law firm. They were using my medical documents, where they found I was diagnosed with a certain mental illness that is very, very polarized and shitty method everywhere. And this stereotype I'm not even gonna tell them because it's really easy to tell. So as soon as they found out about that, the diagnosis, they fired me. There's no shame, and they were very explicit and about that. They said that it will ruin my case, so they were dumping me. And they did it twice. Absolutely, they reinforced the previous email. And the person who did the first one was a core partner. The one who was talking to me after that was a co-partner. The co-partners were on WhatsApp, trying to talk to me on WhatsApp. And I was like, I'm not available on WhatsApp. All the communications you must send to me by email, via email. Please pay attention to this, because it's so much easier to prove something as evidence in any case, legal case, when you have it stamped on your fucking email. Gmail allows you to download any email on PDF. How fucking awesome is that? If you are talking to a lawyer or a doctor or anyone, or a boss or anyone, who in the future you're gonna need to use that communication in your defense as evidence, you're fucked. Because you're gonna spend a lot of money just to verify that the screenshots that you're gonna spend hours taking and not editing are true, are not edited or false. So, yes, do not talk to people involved with work, like lawyers and managers at work or HR, whatever. Back off social media and WhatsApp. Communication, work, professional communication is done by email. And that's it. Shut it, accept it, and move on. You need evidence for your future, lawsuit. Do it, stop it, cut it off. Just do it. Trust me, you're gonna thank me later. So that happened. I will file a complaint against the ethics committee, lawyers ethics committee, but not today. I'm not in physical conditions to do that. The second thing that happened in May was that I scheduled 11 sessions with a psychologist, so I could prove to the government for requesting that social benefits that I was having psychologists and psychiatrists, mental health assessment and treatment. And he was just an asshole. And I'm simplifying because it would take me years to describe the motherfucker. He was a unilateral thinker. The person who sees only black and white. And I'm telling you this because I know I've seen his ultra mini micro office. It's just black and white wallpaper everywhere. He has a vision board that says only one thing. I can't remember what the fuck it is. I don't care. But it's just one thing there. And it's a chalkboard, sorry. So, the first thing he asked me after I said I was really depressed, and I had managed to do the dishes after many days of not being able to clean anything. You know what he asked me? How long have you been a procrastinator? Not what did I mean to you, or why are you crying, or what is it that is making you cry? No, just how long have you been a procrastinator? I looked at him and I was so shocked I stopped crying. Honest to God, I was just like, I've never been a procrastinator. When I have shit to do, I get up and do it. Like I did today. I woke up at 6. By 8, everything was clean. And I was just making breakfast. I had a doctor's visit. I cleaned the house. Everything was folded and clean and perfectly organized. I've never been a procrastinator. I've been depressed. And the idiot said online that he has over 18 years of experience with people, adults with generalized anxiety disorder. Okay, I can't believe he says that to people. And that's it. After that, he canceled. I asked him for a document so I could bring my cat with me on my doctor's visit to the other city. And he blocked out. He freaked out totally. He just went mental. I'm saying mental because he went to talk to the director board of the health plans director board to ask if he could do that, just to clean himself out of the responsibility. I mean, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with people who are supposed to help other people? I had to go through several psychiatrists until someone a girl, a doctor, a woman. I was in the middle of the conversation. She was like, whatever, what do you want? I said, I want a document to showcase that, to prove that my cat is my emotional support. And she was all right and just sent it to me. Just like really basic, not at all detailed like I wanted it to be. But she did it. I have it. And he didn't. He just refused to see me again. The second time, he canceled. The third time, he blocked me. I did complain with the ethics committee, and I have full plans on moving on the complaint to the next level. It's already under assessment by the director's board, the president, because all the complaints, I guess, mental health professionals in my region, they go specifically to the president of the committee. So I know that the president is aware. It's been about 2 or 3 weeks already. So I have to keep it moving. But like I said, I'm taking my time now. I was moving on. I was on automatic. Honestly, I wasn't really thinking about what my body was telling me. Not because I didn't notice, but because I didn't want to. So I was like, just looking at the facts that I lost somebody. Less than 20 hours later, I was training on site, pretending that nothing happened, and having to deal with the communication channels, groups on WhatsApp, all the etiquette, all the protocols of getting involved with these people, adjusting. I didn't adjust well. It's on my burnout document. I had an adjustment issue, huge issue, because I didn't fit in. I didn't, and I never will. I'll never fit in a place that I don't belong to. For me, now it's a boundary. If after 3 months I don't get along with shit, the work, the job, the people, the ambient, the schedule, the hours, the salary, done. Get out. Get out. Don't push it too hard. Don't break yourself for nothing. Trust me. After 6 months, what did I get? Let's put it on the table. The good side is, I was fired by my company. I was fired by my psychologist. I was fired by my law firm. So I have so far no money, no job, and no lawsuit against the wrongful termination, and no proper psychological treatment. Do I regret not having 11 sessions with that asshole? Of course not. It will be actually worse for myself. That's why I don't really like therapy. I was going to do it to show face with the government, but I've been avoiding therapists and psychologists for my whole life. It just doesn't work for me. I've tried before. I had people trying to manipulate me. This one just blocked me and said that he had tried to contact me, which is not true. And anyway, it's just a melodramatic novel, soap opera from Mexico. It's just a Mexican, thing, history, and then it's really melodramatic if you put it like that. But on my body, the impact of this events were so hard. Every time someone was said no to me, it was a rejection feeling. The sensitivity to rejection and abandonment is so high. I can feel it coming. Sometimes I can't. So in the middle of this mess, all these rejections in a short span of time, like 5 months, I was rejected by institutions, by doctors, by lawyers, by a whole company, and female co-workers, male co-workers. It was just a fucking mess. After all that was behind me, I just think that some things were improving in a way that I learned so much. And when you put pressure on people who are professionally and cognitively, think about this. When that person's brain is under pressure, how does she or he react to you? How does she react to that pressure? Think about it. So lawyers and doctors are people who are used to being command. So I'm used to being command. Being a translator in a corporate mind is being the boss, because the person, your coworker who is a foreigner that doesn't speak your language, he tells you what he wants, and then you translate that. That translator holds 99% of the power from that communication. Just think it with me. Just go with me. Come with me. When I translate, I'm 37. I'm 5'3", and I think 120 to 30 pounds. Let's say 53 kilos, 160. When you look at me, you see a 25-year-old. You don't see a 37. And when someone double your age or 3 times your age is caught red-handed doing shit without the proper equipment, safety equipment, and you have to tell him to get up and put the fucking thing on, the gloves on, the masks on, he looks at you like he's wanting to murder you, and not a quick murdering, just a quick death, just slow death. That's what I got for 3 months, every single fucking day or night. It was just exhausting. So what I learned was to boss people around, but not in our arrogant way, not just legally. Mentioning, you have to learn some keywords. And depending on country where you are, I don't know. So some keywords are as quintessential for your defense and for you to get leverage about what you want. Otherwise, you're going to be stepped all over. And I keep saying that because that's what happens when you're not a smart person. Someone has to tell you you're not that brilliant. And to be honest, when you get fired from incompetent people, it just shows you are smart. Outsmart them somehow, in some way, at some level. People notice you. If you're different, if you don't fit in, if you're always, 100%, 150% of the time, when I got to work, I was just like, please be on night shift. Please be on night shift. And then I would spend the whole day just talking to myself. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? The fuck is that? What the fuck is going on? Why am I here? So basically, if you say that a lot, it's over 3 months. You need to, somehow manage communications on WhatsApp groups and stuff. And I just say, move it to email. Don't pay any attention to people from work or lawyers or doctors on WhatsApp. It's legally shitty. It doesn't prove anything. So it doesn't have any value whatsoever. It's not credible. And something else, just know what works for you. Because I pressed these people. Well, I just required some punctuality. I asked from protocols from the lawyers. It's a system that they don't have. So that's why from day one I was talking to the receptionist, and on day 20 I was talking to the co-founder, partner. That's how you get shit done, or you don't. What I think happened was just that they claim themselves to be 20 years on the burnout labor system, lawsuits, work and shit. But they don't have any structure whatsoever to deal with cases and handle and deal with people that are outsmarting them and telling, oh, look, I know the deadline is the 22nd of May. Are you ready? Is my file ready to be filed? So when you put things in perspective to people, you tell them exactly what they say, but you use their words, their lingo. They freak out. I've never seen a co-partner or any law firm in the fucking world try to talk to me on WhatsApp. That's what happened. I've never seen a psychologist freak out because I asked for emotional support candid document. And I saw that happen. Was it the first time? Yes. But was it the only time? Fucking hell, no. Jesus Christ, I'm tired now. I have stomatitis since February. And I cannot afford the reflux medication. So basically, I'm gonna be sick for a while. I had 2 interviews yesterday and no answer yet. So obviously I'm anxious. There's a lot on the table for me. These are really high paying jobs in tech because I have computer science degree and I studied in Italy as well. So I am fucking brilliant. Trust me. I'm no average Joe. I'm not. Or Jane. I'm not Jane Doe. I'm not. I'm just someone who is learning throughout the process how to handle, first of all, myself, regulate my system, ground myself, listen to my body, and actually respect when it's talking to you. Because I was hospitalized twice in this period. During the end of April to mid-May, I was hospitalized twice. It's just my body screaming, I can't take it anymore, stop. So it is really hard. Meanwhile, I was on Hinge, Tinder. I've met some guys. I was almost raped once, and honestly, either ended up, one of them literally saw me in pain the whole day, watched me in pain all day, and dropped me at the hospital, threw my stuff there and left. There is no sympathy in the world. There is no empathy. It's just you and yourself. I think that listening to your body and cherishing your body and your system, nervous system. Please pay attention to your nervous system and your mental health. It doesn't mean I'm telling you to go to see a psychologist. No, I'm not gonna do that. But go to see a psychiatrist. They're better equipped at the brain, in brain studies, than psychologists are. All right? There's no theory, no philosopher, no fucking theory of any kind with a psychiatrist. It's your brain, your chemicals in your neurons, and what must be done to regulate your system, your nervous system, your anxiety, your depression. That's the only doctor, apart from my otorrino, which is otorrino takes care of my reflux and my stomatitis. He's the best. But the other ones, you need to figure out what you can take from every person. Not to manipulate them, but just to benefit yourself. Not everybody is equipped 100% with every skill that you need. So the same is with doctors. My gynecologist is great at physically examining me and telling me what's going on. But he's nasty with prescriptions. He just prescribed to me a very addictive painkiller that another doctor told me to cut it off. Don't buy it because it's expensive and you're gonna get addicted. So yeah, he's great at one thing and not so good at the other thing. But that's how people are. And that's one thing that I learned. You just need to fucking open your eyes and ears, because some people, other than being very professional and good at what they do in one hand, they are the ones who are looking out for what you have, your weaknesses, to put you down, to cut you off and fight you. And that's what happened to me. I showed too much of my brilliance, not by showing off, just by being my fucking self. And look at what we got me. I have paresthesia in my legs since January. I couldn't walk up and down stairs. And I had to talk to the most respected person on the field, on site, just to let me go and work from the office. I still have it. It's been 5 months. I still have it. It's a neurological thing. I can't afford the exam, the physical test that it takes to get a diagnosis about what it is that is causing this paresthesia, this numbness. And it's spreading to my stomach, to my abdominal area and my back. So it's getting worse with time, over time. And anyway, I'm still able to reason and think about things clearly. So let's talk about what I discussed here today. I told you that to keep your communications channels for work and for legal matters on email, via email. I told you to learn their language. You must understand how people think. It's not difficult. If you have the minimal 2% of brain and look for what is a master prompt, you will develop yourself a master prompt for everything differently, in separate cases, in separate files, and deal with different people from different backgrounds in different manners. You can't treat people equally because people are different. That's it. That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard. Everybody's the same. It's not. Everybody's different. You have to treat everybody the same. No, you don't. Everybody's different. Some people like being kissed and hugged when they introduce to other people. I can't stand the thought of it. Stay the fuck away from me. Just give me your hands and I'll wash it later. And I'm from South America, so I was not supposed to be that way. And I am. So don't assume that people's behavior. You have to live them. You have to watch them and study them and research those kind of quirks that everybody has. There are the telltales, that's the signs that's gonna tell what kind of person you're dealing with. If I knew what kind of person my boss was, I had 2 bosses. This is the end of it, the episode, I promise. If I knew what kind of bosses I had, the first one that I met, I called him boss. He was all about me and just, how are you? He was the one I called when my best friend passed away. And he was like, well, how are you doing? Are you better? Are you improving? Do you need anything? I just think you should call me when you feel lonely. He was the one who assisted me, took me to the hospital when I had my first procedure episode in January, the end of January. He came home, he made tea to me, he took me in. It was a father favor that he did. He acted like I was his own daughter, and that's brilliant, but it's not effective at work because he was all about promises. He's the kind of guy who agrees with everything you say just to make you happy, but he doesn't have the balls of following through anything he says. So the other one, the one who fired me, was the insecure one. It was the shaky one, the shy one. He was the kind of guy that, you wouldn't say he would fire anyone at any point for whatever reason, just because. No, he was the guy who came to me, who interviewed me, congratulated me on my silly English, because it's not my native language, it's my second language. But he couldn't look me in the eyes. He couldn't stare in my eyes directly. He kept his head down on our first meeting, our encounter. And that was the guy who fired me. That was the guy who was smiling when he fired me, and he said, "We don't need you anymore." So pay attention to people. They're telling you who they are all the time. You're the one who chooses to see what you want.